All right, hey guys, we're back in the OG narrational video format. Got my iPad here. I'm back in the corner. So I did a little blurb in one of the last videos about the subscriber special that I want to do. So we had 25 subscribers and I wanted to do a little bit something to celebrate. So I asked in the comments what you guys wanted, and one of you, Idealogs, recommended that I give a little bit of history about me and music, what instruments I started with, kind of just the history about music in my life, I guess. So I am going to do my best to kind of go through each step along the way, and I hope you guys enjoy hearing a little bit of background and context. So let's get into it. So it started out back when I was a little kid. I can't even remember how long ago it was. My mom made me do piano lessons, which I actually did not really enjoy. At the time, I was super into visual art. I was drawing Transformers and stuff, doing all sorts of drawings and getting into painting and stuff. You can see a lot of the art I did in high school. So I thought I was going to be a visual artist, and I was all into that. I wanted to be an inventor and a visual artist, and that was my whole thing. And I didn't really think much about music for most of my life so far. But when I was around 10, I started trombone. Taking lessons and being in band. I wanted to do saxophone, but my uncle had a trombone. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll do trombone. And I actually really enjoy it. I think it's a really great instrument. Pretty easy to play, surprisingly. So I did trombone for a while, and then I can't remember what sparked it, but I got into banjo. It was my first stringed instrument. I thought it sounded cool and looked cool, and so I was like, let's do that. I saved up $300. I think it was $300. And bought this kind of cheap pile banjo, and started trying to learn licks and rolls and all that fun stuff. Here's a video of me when I was 13, I think, when I was learning to play, so enjoy that. It was around that time that I actually wrote my first song. And I have it here in my notes app, and I'll read it for you. And I'm going to try not to cringe as I read this. It's called Teddy, Why Do You Have to Be a Blob? Remember, I was 12, 13 when I wrote this, so don't judge. When I wake up in the night and look off to my side, Teddy, why do you have to be a blob? When I go to hold you tight and I see that you're a fright, Teddy, why do you have to be a blob? You see, before I got my glasses, everything was like molasses. Teddy, why do you have to be a blob? Teddy, why do you have to be a blob? So I don't know what I was thinking. I liked to rhyme stuff. I liked saying like rhymey stuff. I was also a pretty weird kid, and I had a little teddy bear. Yeah, when I was 12. Don't make fun of me. He was a good pet. But so that was the first song I wrote, and I didn't write another one for a very long time. It wasn't until I got to high school, my brother had gotten a ukulele, and he had kind of picked it up, tried to play it a little bit, learned a couple songs, and I thought it was pretty cool. It sounded cool. So I picked it up, started trying to learn chords. I learned some Beatles, that song from the Pixar short, the Lava song, learned that, House of Gold by 21 Pilots, all of the late 2010s music that I could enjoy. So that was kind of an inspiration to me, but it wasn't until I met my fiance, my now fiance, in the sophomore year of high school that I really got sparked and started writing stuff. It was a lot of moody, why did she love me type stuff. But the first song I finished is called Rising Tide. I wrote it when she was having a hard night one night, and we were just over text and stuff, and we even had like a texting curfew, so I couldn't text her. But I was like, I'm gonna write you a song tonight. I'm gonna stay up till midnight, and I'm gonna write you a song. And I did that, and it was called Rising Tide, and it actually turned out okay. It was inspired by some Mercy Me that I was listening to at the time, some Need to Breathe. But I was like, hey, I can actually maybe do this, and it's not that hard, and that really just got the ball rolling on music writing. I wrote about 10 songs that year, a lot about my fiance, some about nostalgia and all of that, all these fun things that I still write about today. But as I was writing those songs, I learned guitar better. I learned a little bit of piano, all self-taught. I think I was kind of scarred by the piano lessons I did as a kid. I don't know, lessons just don't, they make it hard to stay motivated, I think, because you're not playing things that you like. And it was just, my teacher was a good teacher, but it just wasn't for me. I really like teaching myself stuff because it's kind of fun. It's like an adventure. You get to test out different things and try things and, think you are the first one to discover this when you're probably not. But hey, even if I'm in denial, it still feels nice. So during that period of like 3 years-ish, I wrote a whole bunch of songs, a lot about love and nostalgia. I tried to produce a couple things back then with GarageBand. I even got this little MIDI keyboard that my dad bought me. He said, I'll buy you this as long as you record a song and produce it, which we ended up doing. Maybe like 3 or 4 years after I got the keyboard, but eventually happened. But it wasn't until college, I think, that we started doing the band. I was so desperate to find other musicians. So I asked all my musician friends to come over to my house. We went in the basement and I just showed them some of the songs I had written. I had them play around a little bit. I don't think a whole lot actually came from that. It was my friend Josh and I that really stuck with it. And he had a friend, Isaac, and then they were in a band with Jersh. And so we kind of knew about each other for a while, and then eventually we got together. My other friend, Caden, was also playing bass at that time. So we kind of would just hang out sometimes, try to play stuff, and it helped that I had songs written. The other band they were with didn't write any songs. They had just played covers and stuff, but not really recorded anything or finished anything. So for them, it was exciting that they knew someone to write songs and produce original songs. So that was really fun. We started playing stuff, and that helps give me confidence to sing out loud, kind of play with other people. And yeah, I guess the rest is history. I've kind of slowed down with my songwriting lately. I think it's hard when you're busy, and I guess it's easier to write songs when you're super emotional and stuff. And I was pretty emotional in high school and lots of things going on, lots of emotions I was feeling. And so that was helpful to write these songs about nostalgia and longing and stuff like that. And my fiance wishes I wrote more songs about her now, but a lot of the songs I wrote were like about longing and wanting her to like me back and stuff like that. So with that gone, it's kind of harder to write. But I found that traveling is a big inspiration for me nowadays. A lot of the songs I wrote on the album were written in Vermont and Colorado, and thinking about locations and feelings and people. And that's been really helpful inspiration for that. And also new instruments. This organ has been really cool. Learning how to use different sounds in writing and stuff. So I'm doing my best still. I still really enjoy writing, and I would like to do lots more of it. And I know it'll be something that I do for the rest of my life. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the background of my music career so far. I think the main thing is just, I think music is really cool. Like the different sounds people make, the different instruments that are inspired by culture and history and religion and personal experiences, and people just come up with really cool stuff. And I'd like to do a video about all of the bands and albums that have inspired me for this album specifically, but also just in general. So comment down below if you want to see that. I'll probably make it anyways because I don't have anything else to do, but at least I will be encouraged when I do it that people want to see it. Anyways, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that was informative and interesting to see maybe a fellow musician and his history. Yeah, thanks for coming along as always. It's cool to have a little following and people who are actually interested. It's super encouraging. I'm really thankful for you guys. I hope you know that. And I guess I will see you in the next video. See ya.